What's good, Black Star Podcast? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Jared. Y'all, apparently, these snow bunnies are starting to come out and talk shit. So everybody's been talking about the whole black, about how a lot of black women love to wear bonnets and shit. Yeah, let's. Apparently, there was a white woman that said something about it. Let's get it.
The woman who called a 5-year-old a racial slur. I have worked with 5-year-olds for the last 15 years. Absolutely everything they do is out of pocket. They're like little unhinged drunk people. Nothing they do makes sense. A 5-year-old is capable of rifling through somebody's bag and taking things that don't belong to them. Ask any kindergarten teacher. But I realize why so many people are wanting to defend this. Because black fatigue is real. I think society as a whole is there. We are just so unbelievably fed up with the ghetto ratchet behavior, entitlement, the victimhood, that they want to praise this woman. But what she did is not praiseworthy. But also on the same hand, please remember that every day that us white people get on this app, we get called racial slurs. Every single day. So if you don't want to be called a racial slur, you also have to stop calling people racial slurs. She'll be watching her back for the rest of her life. Yeah, because that's not thuggery, hoodrattery, animalistic. This is why people have black fatigue. When you act like this, it's not normal behavior. People do stupid stuff. People say stupid stuff. That's life. It's not normal to threaten to unalive people because you don't like what they're doing. We're getting sick and tired of opening up TikTok and seeing brawls on cruise ships, brawls in the airport. It's like literally the most ghetto behavior. We're tired. We're tired of it. But then whining and complaining and acting like it's not your fault that you act that way. Yeah, we're kind of over it.
Shit. I mean, you can't really argue what she said. No matter how much you don't like it, no matter how much you want to say something about it, you can't really argue it. I want to know what these women gonna say.
Ooh. Anybody disagree with her? Okay. Do white people have the right to be upset of the ratchet behavior going on in the black community? She said a lot.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Well, Mike, go
I'm
ahead.
kind of glad they're standing up for themselves. It's like they just was being weird with all the Black Lives Matter signs, saying shit that they really don't mean. I feel like everybody has a right to say and do whatever they feel like doing. And you do too. It's called free will. You can be racist, your choice. I think you should allow people to be exactly who they are so you know who you're dealing with. I think everybody just like to be lied to. They don't like reality.
Okay. So did anybody disagree with her?
I think it's more ghetto fatigue, if anything, because
Yes.
if it can be black fatigue all you want, but I'm tired of all the ghetto hot mess too. So
But here's the problem. When you see a whole bunch of black women fighting and shit, and that's the only thing you technically see on TikTok when it pops up, and then you see baddies Caribbean, baddies West, baddies Africa, and all these different Zeus Network shows and shit that trend for all the wrong reasons, and black women getting put in the public or getting put or eyes being on black women for all the wrong reasons, it then starts to become quote unquote black fatigue. It's the image that y'all may not contribute to, but y'all help promote it. Cause let's face it, if baddies didn't get the viewership it got, it wouldn't be popular. Let's keep it like that. If we didn't see a shit ton of black women fighting all over the fucking place for no fucking reason on TikTok and it being promoted or getting the viewership, it wouldn't be happening. Or it would happen, it'd just be in the background. Or if black women wouldn't go into different stores like Lululemon or different high-end luxury stores that white people typically frequent, twerking, throwing their ass around, doing all sorts of ratchet shit in there, and recording it and then putting it online. If it didn't happen, it wouldn't be there. So you kind of have to understand that the image of a lot of these sisters is because of the way that they act and they portray themselves online and in public. So I mean, I'm sorry to say it, but it's the truth.
I see it mostly in the black community. However, I see it with all skin tones. I educate my daughter personally to call people the color of wheat. We're all
But the problem is, you may teach your daughter that, you may feel that way, but that's not how the world see it.
all different shades of wheat. There's nobody that's black, there's nobody that's white. We're all different shades, we're all human, but it's the ghetto hot mess that is I'm tired. I am tired of it.
Yeah, I think there are many the black like.
I would agree that
Go ahead, Dylan. To was that Miss Freckles? Her point that because the black community is already a small community, even when you have a small portion of people that's promoting the degeneracy, the ghetto behavior, the not knowing how to conduct themselves in public spaces, it gives a whole bad reputation for the black community in itself. So I think she's just saying like the black community, you really don't have room to be acting ratchet, ghetto, hood, and like you don't have any common sense when people before us sacrificed a lot just to make sure that we can get an education and have jobs and have our families. Least you can do is conduct yourself like you have sense and like you've had people to fight for you before you even born. So that's that.
yeah, but gentleness and niggery is not boiled down to just black people though. Like let's not act like black people are the only people fighting on cruises or the only people who have out of pocket behavior. So I don't like the term black fatigue, but I do think that, there is a group of people who exhibit certain behaviors that could go into that category.
Mm-hmm. Wait, hold on. I ain't never seen no white people fight on no cruise line. Maybe it's my
white people be fighting too.
They do be fighting. We just don't see it because you got black Twitter and then you have the opposing.
But it's not a norm. It's not the norm for them.
How would we know?
Like,
Nikki, are you white? Would you know? I mean, I'm just saying, like.
Yeah. Well, I'm around white people a lot, and I'm around black people a lot. But let me first, I want to make my point about the video. I don't think that I'm not mad. I get it. Like, what's your name? Nara.
Yeah, Nara.
Yeah. Nara. I do agree with her. Like I was kind of like, okay, I've been seeing white people, they're starting to stand up for themselves. But I don't think it's necessarily that they even think so much about us like black people think they do, that they care about the ratchetness because it's affecting us. But I think the main issue is we keep blaming them. And that's why they're starting to speak up.
And I agree with Kiki on that. Or Nikki on that. Not Kiki, Nikki. I mean, we have to have an honest conversation about it. And this is honestly the truth. The shit that we do, that a lot of people do in our community, we always blame it on racism or blame it on slavery, or we always blame it on some shit that's happened to us in our past. We never really talk about the shit that's going on now. We always try to scapegoat it. Oh, it's because we've done this, or we don't want to deal with the white or European standard, all that bullshit. We always seem to blame something for the ways that we act, and me personally, I'm tired of it. because I don't have a criminal record. I don't want to do it. I want to own a bunch of businesses. I don't care about the whole party culture, club culture, all that bullshit. I don't care. That shit doesn't interest me. But I see a lot of this shit going on, a lot of these ratchet people doing a lot of shit that they do. And it gives me a bad image because I'm a black man. Although I'm not doing it, I get secondhand embarrassment from them doing it. Cause I'm like, damn. Although I don't want to be associated with it, I'm associated with it because of my skin tone.
They're tired of both behavior, but the main part is we're blaming them. Black people blame the white people for every issue and everything that's going on.
No, we don't blame them for every issue that's going on, but there's definitely some things that they played a part in, but we're not saying they're the total blame for that.
But nobody says that. Like no,
So
the
who's
loudest voices
nobody?
don't say that. The loudest voices are not saying that.
What are they?
I'm actually surprised you're saying that.
What are they responsible for today that we need to blame them for?
I will say that due to a lot of things that have happened throughout history, that does bleed into society today.
Like I said, talking about shit in history that don't pertain to the shit that's going on today. So they try to justify the shit that's going on today instead of actually talking about the shit that's actually going on today that has nothing to do with what white people have done in the past. That's the problem with all of this shit. And she just proved it.
To some extent, I don't think that some of the segregation or some of the things that went on within the black community, I don't think all of that has completely went away. Now, are there more opportunities for black folks to succeed? Yes. Do I think that black people play a part in their demise sometimes? Yes. But I also think that
not sometimes, all the time. Because you may have grown up in a situation that isn't particularly favored for you. You may have grown up in a situation to where you grew up in the hood or you grew up in poverty, you grew up not having anything. Yes, that's true. But here's the problem. After you turn 18, your path is your path. Whether you choose to let your bringing up define you or you decide to rise above your original programming in a sense and become more.
on the flip side of that, there is some truth to there still being some bias out there. There's still being some racism out there. And I will say that maybe it's not as blatant. And maybe sometimes white folks can be unintentionally biased when it comes to certain things, or they might have unconscious thoughts.
Or could it be stereotyping through skin tone? That's what you also got to look at too. Could it be possibly stereotyping due to skin tone?
That they're not intentionally trying to be a way, but maybe they just are a certain way based off of how they were raised, who they were around, some of the things that they heard, and so forth.
I would
So,
I think that delusional.
so you think that, so you think that white people are intentionally or unintentionally or blatantly or subconsciously causing harm to black people today?
To an extent, but everybody has bias. It's not just limited to white people. Black people have bias too.
Give me an example. Give me a literal, like a real concrete example.
Of what? Being like unconsciously biased or like blatantly biased?
How are they causing harm to black people today specifically?
Have you heard of white fragility or like white tears? When we talk about corporate America or in the workspace, right? For an example, sometimes you do have, and I've heard stories like this where when black women have felt boxed in the workplace based off of how they identify. And a lot of that can be due to experiences or interactions that they've had with white women. Or
That has nothing to do with the conversation. What?
Or let's just
So
say a
wait. So
white
let's
woman may
this
be.
because I'm this is new to me. So
Well, let me explain. For an example, you might have a white coworker who's very passive at work, but then, for an example, if a black woman addresses the situation, she could, now I'm intimidated, or she did X, Y, and Z, or she made me feel away. So there are some ways that maybe white folks can still be harmful. If they could be biased in a way of, I gave that example before where I had somebody say, well, why can't
well,
people
hold
just,
on. I don't want you to jump over examples because I'm slow.
okay.
So I'll be trying to catch up.
But I do believe a lot of it is
Oh, hold on, Jess. Let me ask my question.
okay.
So they felt. What did they feel? What did the black women feel in the workplace?
For an example, there have been situations where, and I've also say I've felt this before, where I've had a coworker who did not identify as black, and they were very passive in the way that they handled things that affected me. Now,
So
by
what should they have done? What should they have been more aggressive in?
not necessarily aggressive, but if there's an issue, if there's something going on, I think there's an appropriate way to address a coworker, and there's a very passive aggressive way to do that.
Like what? Give me a real example. What happened?
Um, ooh, I would rather not get into that on this particular platform, but I will say that
Hold
I
up.
have seen that happen.
You bring up an example, then you don't want to give the details on the example that you're giving to make your point. So basically, you're making an argument just because. You're just arguing just because if your example was of a significant argument, you would have explained your argument or your example. But you're gonna give some vague ass example. Then when he asks you to elaborate on that example, you don't want to do it because of specific reasons. Seriously. At that point, you might as well just shut the fuck up because there's no point that you should have just. There's nothing that you should have said because the example is now void.
Happen where
So because a white woman was passive about how y'all felt that they should have handled the situation, that somehow affects
well,
how you.
no, they were passive aggressive in a particular work situation that happened. So something happened at work, that caused a rift between two co-workers, and the white co-worker was very passive aggressive in how they handled the situation, whereas the black woman was more direct in the situation. The white woman ended up going to higher leadership saying, hey, I feel intimidated, she's angry, she's X, Y, and Z, and gave all of these different outliers or all of these different characteristics to this black woman who just said, hey, like, what's the issue? What's the problem? Who was very direct, but wasn't angry, didn't have all of these stereotypes that typically black women sometimes get in corporate America
So
working period.
so it sounds like y'all making up stuff to be offended by.
No, it's the white woman's playing the victim. It's as if the
Thank
white
you.
woman is
That's a
White
real
playing.
woman playing.
thing.
Oh, okay,
So it is
sincerely.
a
So
real thing.
okay,
It
hold
is a
on,
real.
Real
wait.
thing.
So is it Deja?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, what's going on, Deja?
How you doing?
So white women are playing victim, which then says that black women are being affected by their victim mentality. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that happens. So my
Thank
first
you.
opinion, my first opinion
Yeah.
is not happening at large in my world. I don't have. I'm not having that. But what I can say is what happened. No, hear me out.
I'm listening.
I have friends. They tell me their experiences.
Your friends gave me
Yeah,
telephone. I
when you're
like it. I
working in
like it.
the office, okay, so a black woman's personality most of the time is, we're very direct when we speak. And
Is it directness or is it agitation? No, well, not agitation. Is it being direct or is it being just semi-aggressive? Because there's a certain way that you can be direct without being aggressive. And I tend to believe that a lot of black women are aggressively direct when they speak to a lot of people. I'm gonna just say it like that.
White people have a way, just white people in general, they have a
Okay,
way.
so hold on, wait. So let's
That
minus
is
out. Let's minus out. So y'all got an attitude problem. Okay. Let's
no, no,
continue.
Can I add
no.
to what both of them were
Hold on. Let's
Hey,
have
saying?
no,
this
let
conversation.
me
Let's have this
explain
conversation.
my point,
So
Jeremy.
wait. All right. So y'all got an attitude problem that y'all
Mm-mm,
don't want to address. And instead of y'all
no,
being a cultural fit and adjusting to the environment that you're in, you expect for the world to adjust around you. All right, keep going.
no. I mean, it
If
could be
anything,
perceived that way, but
black
that is not exactly
I'm
what's
sorry,
happening.
Jess. I'm sorry. You said you didn't really want to go into your example and be
I'm just
specific.
saying, if
Please
So
anything,
give me
black
a
women
second.
are recluse for
Ah,
that very
ah, is
reason.
this are you exhibiting black woman attitude right now?
I don't have the attitude. See, now I feel like you playing. I'll go ahead
No, I'm
and
just
ask
trying to
because I'm not
understand
falling
where this
for it. Go
aggression
ahead,
is
girl.
coming
Go
from.
finish your example. I'm playing.
Why are black women interrupting me when I'm trying to talk to another black woman? Go ahead, sincerely. Help me to understand. So bad attitude, workplace, go.
Okay, so imagine this, right? Imagine a person, you and her have a regular work rapport, regular relationship, nothing bad, nothing good, just a regular work relationship, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you have an incident where the white woman may feel maybe intimidated, maybe she feels like you do your job better than she does. Her job, whatever the case may be. I don't want to get into just like just a specific example, but let's just
Mm-hmm.
say that's the case, right? Instead of the white woman just saying that, oh, I don't like this about you, I don't like that you do your job better than me, or I don't like, let's use your example, I don't like that your personality is the way that it is. I don't like that.
Is that
Instead
what
of
they would say? I don't
voicing
like that
that,
your
they
personality
wait
is the
for a
way that it is.
scenario where they can feel like, oh no, she did, and then no one cares about the situation at hand when a white woman is crying. They just care about making that person feel safe and feel comfortable in that situation. And then it can negate that the person, let's say the black woman, didn't do anything wrong. She did nothing wrong, but the white woman is portraying it that she is.
So what happens to that? How do you then get disciplined?
Sometimes if it's the HR situation, it would be HR's discretion, but they you can get wrote up. You can say that,
Nobody is writing you up for making somebody feel
oh,
uncomfortable.
you just don't know.
Yes,
But
they
Yes,
yeah,
do.
you
yeah.
can.
No,
You
no,
can
no.
say
I
that
think that,
HR
but do you
is
think that
professional.
Stop.
Yes, you can say that you want to
Nobody
be
is getting
professional.
written up. Nobody is getting put on a pip.
No,
Nobody
Yes,
is
they
getting
are.
written up
yes, they are.
because
Yes, they
Yes, they
are.
are, Anton.
Maybe
It's just a whole bunch of women and they fucking feelings about the shit. And honestly, to me, it's just like, you know what? It's like we anytime we bring up a situation like this, when we try to talk to black women, it's like you can't talk to them because it's like they getting their emotions. Anton's trying to talk to them, but it's like they start to get in their emotions and they're starting to damn be like, you know what? They start to talk over it. You can't have a conversation with somebody like that because their emotions are going to take precedence over reality. And it's like, man, just shit. This is, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to fucking say at this point. This is ridiculous. Anyways, guys, like, share, subscribe, channel, support the podcast, support.com. If you guys want to, please support Black Star Podcast or Black Star Reacts channels at blackstarmerch.com, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. Bye, guys.